Want to mention one other thing. This faceplate has to be mounted exactly on the glue line. Okay. I have a small template that I use to make sure that happens. This outer diameter fits exactly on the inside diameter of my faceplate, and it's got a point from a screw that I've embedded in there. I put the screw in the owl mark and make sure it's on. So it could be up and down, but it has to be exactly on that glue line, or else it's not going to work right. Okay, all four corners are still there, so I'm happy with that. Still looking good. I'm going to do a little bit faster with the Bedan. So with any type of parting tool, you can just plunge it in and get a bad cut, or you can follow the ABCs of anchoring the bevel, anchoring the tool on the tool rest, riding the bevel, and then lifting the handle to get a nice cut. Okay, so right now I'm fully round, and I'm going to go just a little bit deeper because there's a little knot here that's caused a little chip out, and I just want the gap between the round and the square to be a little bit more pronounced. Okay, so again, I'm going to be anchoring the tool, rubbing the bevel without cutting, and I'm going to raise the handle until it cuts. Rubbing and cutting. All right, that's pretty good. Just a little bit more. So this diameter is 105 millimeters, 4 inches, a little bit over 4 inches. So I'm going to go in here 2 inches because it's going to be a hemisphere. Right here. I was too aggressive there. I lost some chipping. I'll have to go back to the bowl gouge. Oh, I lost a big piece there. I'll have to fill that in later with epoxy or something. All right, now I'm going to try to do special cuts to clean this up. First, I'm going to try the bowl gouge. If that doesn't work, I'll switch to a spindle gouge. Getting there. Try one pass with the spindle gouge. The surface is pretty, the tear out is reduced quite a bit from what it was from the Bedan. However, I've got it a little bit curved, so I want to fix that. I want to as straight as an edge as possible here.
Do you have a ratio between the inner cut and the diameter of the bowl?
Say again?
Do you have a ratio between the inner cut, one closest to the square, to the diameter of the bowl?
No, I'm going to eventually go for this diameter here.
All the
Small
way through?
one. This is going to be the,
Diameter of the bowl?
it's going to be the outer diameter of the bowl, the outer diameter of the sphere.
Okay. How deep do you go on the one closest?
Half the diameter. Half the diameter.
Half the diameter?
This will be half the diameter, yes.
So that's how far in you go, but how deep you go with the cut?
From where it's
You'll be, it's hard to explain, it's easier to show you, and you'll see that in about 10 minutes. Okay, so the spindle gouge did excellent. The cut quality is excellent. I did lose a chip here. I'm just going to have to live with that. I was too optimistic about that. There's a little bit of waviness, a little bit of grooves in there, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm more concerned about now getting a perfect cylinder and then turning it into a sphere.
How dry is the piece of wood you're working with?
It's at least 10 years old. It's a thick piece, so usually thick pieces take a long time to dry, but this, I'm pretty confident it's dry. it's still 4 inches. This is 2.3. So when I make the sphere, I can lose some off of this edge and still keep it a hemisphere. Use my two spindle gouges. These are both Thompson tools. They're both ground to a geometry that Mike Hasseluk. How many people have ever made a sphere? Okay. Typically, how you make a sphere is you get it sort of round, and then you turn it on another axis, and you turn it again. You keep on changing the axes, and by the time you shoot for a baseball, you end up with a golf ball. We had Mark St. Ledger come in to demonstrate for us, and he did it on 2 axes only. And he hit it, he nailed it, he turned it roughly round by eye, flipped it around, and he removed the ghost, and he was done. At the Pittsburgh Symposium, I saw Christian Burchard, I think he's been pronounced. He turned it, he was much more conservative. He would only nibble away at it, and took him maybe 5 or 6 changing of the axes to get it right. Then we had Mike Hasseluk come to our club, and he turned a sphere without ever measuring or without, just by eyeball. And he never turned, he only did it on 1 axis. He was done, he rolled it across the floor, it was perfect. So when he had hands-on training for us the next day, I actually made one that day under his tutelage, and I achieved what he had done. 1 axis, I got it almost perfect. But I've never been able to do it again. That was 4 years ago. So here, again, you have to, if you're going to make a perfect sphere, perfect hemisphere, you're going to need to use templates. And I'm going to make 1 template now, and I'm going to show you another one that I use quite a bit. Have you guys had Mark Safiri here as a demonstrator?
Yes.
Yeah. This is a trick from him that I learned at a symposium. This is plastic. It's a garage sale sign. You buy them at Walmart for about $1. No trespassing signs don't work as well. So there's no drawing with the compass. Now I see I'm a little bit over, I'm going to hit this edge too quickly, so I got to adjust and get a little bit more off of this side. Okay, there's 1 template right there. Perfect sphere. I'll use it like this. Okay. So back to my tools. This is a Hasseluk design. I have a big diameter and a small diameter. This is 5/8 diameter. The heel is removed, so it's like a double bevel. That just allows a little more clearance. I like this one. You can hang your tool off the tool rest quite big with the bigger diameter. So I'm going to freehand the sphere as best I can, and then I'll start using the templates. Now, because I'm cutting downhill, and this is a spindle orientation for the wood, the cut quality is excellent. Compared to here, it's terrible. But again, I will be able to smooth that out before the end. Now, when you're over here, you're very close to hitting your knuckles on this, so be very careful. You'll probably only do that once. I think you guys need a little bit of WD-40 for this tool rest. Now by eye, that looks pretty good to me. Put it here. And the template is hitting the wood right here. And so we'll work on that area and see if that solves my problem. Now, with the bevel rubbing cut, again, the quality of the cut is excellent, but I'm not especially good at getting a contour. So pretty soon I'm going to switch to scraping. You saw I already did a little bit of scraping with the gouge. Okay, it's still hitting right here. I'm going to switch to a scraper. Okay. All right, pretty close, but I'm still touching right here. I'm going to show you my other tool templates. These are hole saws with the teeth ground off. If you have a perfectly flat disc shape, put it on here. If it hits the sphere, you'll see no gap. Here you see I can rock it a little bit. It means it's too high here. I got to remove wood here. Now the advantage of these hole saws is they're not just a template, but they're a cutting tool. So I ground it. There's a burr from the grinding tool on the inside of this, and I could actually remove wood by rubbing it back and forth. So I use it both as a template and as a cutting tool. I don't like to use it for cutting that much, just the final touch-up, because it leaves a kind of a torn-out surface. So I see I have to do some work here before I use it. And it's the same place that this yellow template was telling me, so that's comforting. See what I can do here.
Are you making marks on the wood so you can see what to remove?
No. I could. I sort of just line it up on the tool rest and hold it there.
So are you just using that as a visual reference, or?
It's a visual reference right now, but I can cut with it, and I'll do a little bit of cutting later. The big advantage is you don't have to turn the lathe off compared to the yellow card. Now it's very close there. All right, I'm going to cut it with it a little bit now. First thing you remember to do, again, one thing you only do once is not forget to move the tool rest out of the way. If this can catch and come smacking down, hit me one time on that tool rest. So you don't have to press too hard, but you have to press hard enough so it doesn't chatter. See, I removed that amount of dust. Now the burr is probably moved off, so I'm going to rotate it like this, put it back on.
What size hole saw is that?
This is 2 1/8. This is 1 3/4. They would both work on this size ball. Yeah, I'm as
And
I've reached it.
when you sharpen that, is it just a square edge, or are you putting a bevel on it?
What I do is I'll rest my hand on the tool rest,
Okay.
but the tool is not on the tool rest. I'm holding it, and I hold it perpendicular to the wheel. And so it's grinding this top surface and the bottom surface simultaneously. And I'll rotate.
Stop working.
All right. Well, I'll rotate it when I'm doing it very gently. Okay. I do this about 10 resharpenings before I feel I'm a little bit nervous I'm losing this flatness. Then I'll take it to a disc sander and make sure it's flat on a disc sander. Okay. This one They're both attached with the lag bolt and a washer. I think I put some glue on there or something, but I can't loosen. This one is shifted. It's moved off of the center of the handle. A little bit awkward to use because of that, but I can't get the lag bolt out anymore, so I'm stuck. But this one here, so I use this one more. But again, if you look here, it's perfect sphere here, perfect all the way to here, and when it gets close to the edge, it's not quite as good, but I haven't really touched this up. I'm going to try to smooth this out and then go back to the sphere. But really, I'm almost 90% done. Rubbing the bevel, moving the handle. Yeah, it's very smooth. It's a little bit not quite straight. Let me do a little work on the sphere. Lost my calipers. Okay, still at 4 inches.
You ever try to go past the halfway point?
I think I've just gone past the halfway point.
Or be on purpose?
It's a little bit less than half. So you can probably take the curve past the hemisphere and start to bend in. And I think it'll still look good when we're done. Because I have a little bit of leeway. No, I'm too far. I'm going to have to curve it in a little bit here.
One of those ones you passed around, Mike, was just a little bit past.
Yeah, I overcompensated it freehand, and I made it worse. So it's better to be slow and sure and patient rather than rushing through it.
I thought it looked very nice.
Yeah. A little bit of a bump there I can't get rid of. This is my hollowing tool. It's a 3/4 inch shaft with a steel insert. It's called, when I started turning, this is my one and only tool that I had. You can do anything with it, really. It's called an Oland tool sometimes, from the guy in Sweden who seems to have invented it. But it's really much the same as any type of hollowing tool that John Jordan or Trent Bosch would sell, David Ellsworth. All right, so I curved it over just a little bit, so I'm done.
Mike, your head units that you're using, you said you found that on eBay?
Yes,
What did those units go for?
brand new. Brand new, the whole system cost $1,500. Maybe $2,000 if you buy directly from 3M. On eBay, I got the helmet for $200 and the filter system with the battery for $500. So $700 for that setup there.
Did you notice a big difference though with it?
Yes, the AirMate, the 40-year-old one that I replaced it with, first of all, the battery life is poor. Second of all, the velocity of the air coming down and refreshing your face wasn't quite as strong as the new one. Third thing is, it fits better on your butt, so you don't bump into things when you're backing up and stuff. So I like those three things. This has this apron. You don't have to get the apron. The old-fashioned kind is like a white apron that fits over your beard very tight. I don't really find that comfortable. So I like this apron. It sits down there, and a little bit hot in the summertime, but I still like to wear it because it's just more comfortable than the other versions of the helmet.
Did you ever use a trend?
Yes, yeah, I really don't like the top heavy, exactly. It's good for 80% of the things you do, but if you bend over to pick something up,
Falls off.
you gotta hold one hand on your head. Yeah, so I sold my trend to buy this, to buy the AirMate, and I sold the AirMate to buy the new one. And again, it is you look at that sticker price and you think, what am I'm buying a simple fan for $1,000? But 3M, I mean, I just feel like it's worth it to play it safe with my lungs. Yeah. Plus, I'm in the shop almost every day, so I'm using it all the time. You would need special filters if you wanted to filter out chemicals from finishing. I don't have that. I just use it for dust.
Put it in the camera before you do it.
Well, we can do it on 3.
All right, this is the paper joint right there. I'm going to line this up very carefully and whack it with a hammer. You ready? Now I brought, sometimes with the craft paper especially, it holds stronger than this, and I might just go a little bit in and then switch to the 90 degree and go down a little bit there, or switch to standard chisel, because the chisel has a little bit of a wedge shape. It sort of helps to remove
Is the
the...
knife a bandsaw?
Say again?
Is the knife a bandsaw blade?
No, it's just like a, I don't know, it's called a utility knife, I guess. I don't know, I've had it for 100 years.
It's almost like a spatula that you sharpen.
Yeah, but it's definitely a knife. I mean, yeah. Okay. Next thing, it's got to find the center. This center finder usually is not adequate because you can't get too far around, but it gives me a starting point. Can only go this far. Okay. So then I'll check that with my compass. It's off by 1/16 of an inch. All right, I like that. So I will take my awl. Mark that there.
Mike was good at math in high school.
Yes, I should introduce my sister Mary. She lives in Forest Hills. She makes sure I got here on time. And she bought me supper last night.
I received his rejects.
Not a bad deal.
You're walking. What else do we need?
Okay. So you see the center punch is off from with the center finder found, but double check it with the compass and it seems to be fine. This might be a little bit might have not have centered it perfectly. It looks like this distance here is smaller than this distance here by less than a 1/16, maybe a 32nd of an inch. So I'm going to try to adjust the hole a little bit. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have been so confident. Okay. All right, a little bit over. All right, that should work. Okay, now we have to attach it to the lathe. Okay, this is where you're going to be very happy that this is here. Okay, and I got to plug in my hot glue. Okay, my primary way of attaching this is with double sticky tape. This stuff is very, very good. I have never had it fail on me yet, so.
You have a certain brand you like?
No, this is TESA brand, T-E-S-A. I can't, this is the only brand I ever bought. It's the only roll, I don't use it that often.
Start.
Okay. Can you do me a favor and start peeling off just the paper backing on those? It should come off like this. Very good. How am I doing on time?
It's 11 o'clock.
So I got till 12?
Yeah.
All right. All right, here's my live center. Okay, so you put the the marked hole onto the live center, cone point. This is primarily just to line it up so it's going to be centered. All right, then back it up.
You guys in the front row want some longer plating?
So you use a double stick tape for that square part? The double stick tape to hold it up, right?
Yes. There's two straps on here holding against the plate. Now I'm bringing these up, provide some pressure, let it set for about 10 minutes. Okay. While I'm waiting, these two. Now you see this is an unbalanced situation, so I'm using this this wedge to do two things. The wedge is going to support the cantilevered part of this turning, plus it's providing some counterbalance. And you don't want to put it on like this because you're not going to be balancing. You want it to be as straight as you can. There. I thought I would have room for two. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'll just not use this.
Keep the clamp on while you're turning?
Just for 1 minute. Okay, so I got double tape here, double tape here. I'm going to add a little hot glue as a belt and suspenders philosophy.
I'm not sure we're long enough for me to go back over here.
I only need it for a second. I can probably survive. I'm going to put some there. I'll put some there. Put some there. There. That's all I need it for. Okay, while it's drying, I want to talk a little bit about design. What's the best way to use this? Okay. So, I don't know where the ones I was passing around were, but basically, we're just going to hollow this out. Going to make constant wall thickness. I'm going to be very scrupulous in making sure my wall thickness is the same all the way down. Okay. Usually when I make a bowl, I just run my fingers up and down and I'm happy. But this, I want it to be as exact as I can get. Just makes life easier in the future. So that's about 700 RPM. It's about as fast as I can go without too much vibration. It's not bad though. Now the quality of my mounting can be seen here. That's probably, there's just a tiny amount of white space you can see between the cutting of the tool and the compass mark. And on this side, it's more like a 16th or 32nd of an inch maybe gap between the white of the paper and the lead of the pencil. However, the thickness of the wall looks a little bit better than that. So I'm happy with that. It's not perfect, and again, we're going to be able to touch that up on the bandsaw in about a half hour. Able to notice that when I was cutting the surface that still had paper on it, there's very little vibration. That means that I get things reasonably well, and that the tape sticking on did not cause any shifting or anything like that. Just going to check to see if this looks like it's holding.
It's amazing.
It looks fine for everyone except for you. always going to measure the wall thickness at the same location every time. That's good.
Is that good?
I'm just used to turning a bowl on the end, much easier.
Thank you, Dave.
On mine. The other two, you can't do that.
Do you have any light?
From that end? No. Well,
That's better.
okay.
All right, this catch here was kind of deep. Came to him right about here. All right. Now the quality of this surface is not especially good. I'll touch that up with the scraper when I'm done, before I remove it. Touch it up with the scraper. Okay, it's still very thick on the bottom, I guess. Still probably too thick. Yeah, okay. All right, a little bit farther. Okay, another ½ inch to go. Okay, all the way there. Constant thickness. Now I screwed up that one catch. I'm going to try to touch that up with the scraper and then take it off the blade. Yeah, that's as good as I'm willing to chance it without it falling off. I'll touch the rest of it up on the hook rest. So, let's see how easy this comes off. Okay. Now the hot glue actually pulled wood off of the cherry. So that's indicates how strong that glue could work. Now the hot glue that I buy from Michael's craft store, a little bit of mineral spirits. Now I usually sand, if you look at, let me put it under the camera. You might be able to tell that the wall thickness is a little bit higher here than it is right at the ends. I'm going to blend that a little bit with the sanding. Also, there's a decent amount of tear out right here. I was too anxious to take this off the lathe without touching up the tear out with the scraper. My favorite tool for that is the negative rake scraper. But I'll be able to live with that. The other thing is this surface here is not too bad. There's some rings in there for tool marks, but there's no tear out. So that'll go pretty quickly, touching up. So I'm going to sand every surface to 120 grit dry. And then I switch to wet sanding. And wet sanding, I use walnut oil. How many are familiar with walnut oil? About half you. This is not the stuff from your grocery store. The grocery store walnut oil doesn't cure. This will cure to a hard surface. Takes a long time, 2 to 4 weeks. Sometimes I put it in my oven at 140 for 6 to 8 hours, and that helps cure it. In the summertime, I put it out on my porch and let it get sunlight. That helps accelerate the curing. And then after it's cured, you can add varnish on top, wipe on poly, for example, or you can go directly to buffing. That Spalted Maple one that was bowl, that was walnut oil and then direct to bio buffing. And I thought it produces a nice intermediate sheen. A lot of my customers, they like much glossier finishes. I'll put wipe on poly on top of this.